call me Phil. As you may have already noticed, I am an atheist, and there is 3 main reasons for that. The first reason is, as everybody on this world, I was born without the belief in a God. And since no one taught me to, I am still a natural-born atheist. It's really that simple. The second reason is, I am a teacher's son, and as a teacher's son, I am a natural-born smartass. I love to correct people, really, and I love asking uncomfortable questions, like, what the heck are you talking about? Which is a very common question with priests and religion teachers. And the third reason is, I am a Berliner, and we Berliners traditionally don't give a fuck about clerical bullshit. So, fuck you, clerics. We know you made God up to control people, but you're not going to control us, or the other 82% of young Europeans who say, I don't need a God.
I told you. He gets right to it, doesn't he? He's a wild one, that Phil. Okay, so let's deal with 2 of the things that he claimed, first off, right off the bat, about religion in general. Number 1, that he was born without a knowledge of God. Just like everybody else on the whole planet is born without this knowledge of God. Well, exactly the opposite is true. Now, the simplest way to deal with this is to think for yourself with very limited knowledge. Like, I'm talking like, 8th grade world history knowledge, right? You can do this. Think about the indigenous people groups historically or in modern context, okay, who have no established religion. So today there's about 4,000 people groups that have no knowledge of Christianity at all, for example. So there's these people groups have no knowledge of religion at all or God, no established church, right? You can think about again, modern and historical. Would they or have they made up or imagined or pretended or groped or longed for a God? Yes. 100% of the time, yes. In fact, you'll never meet a Christian missionary who went to a people group without a government and without an established church that was atheist. They all have a God. Whether they make nature into God like the Hindus have done, like the Indians have done, like the Wazoo in Colombia have done, and like many African countries have, or indigenous people have done, whether they make nature into a God or they make up a God, every people group in the history of humanity has longed for God. Like there's something inside of them that is not atheist, it's deist at the best, right? It's deist. So something inside of every human being born on this planet longs for God. So Phil's completely wrong. It ignores science, it ignores anthropology, it ignores sociology, it ignores just basic stuff, right? He just ignores it for the sake of his argument. The second thing he says is, we know clerics who created God to control people. This is really easy to deal with. That is completely false. First off, it's irrational, and we'll deal more with it later because he's going to say it repeatedly. But just to think about it, think about the most controlling people in the world today. It is not the Americans, who you would probably say have the predominant Christian culture. There's a lot of Christians in America, and it mostly is. And I know nuns are on the rise and all that, but for the most part, we're pretty much a religious country, right? It's not going to be America. It's not going to be Europe, right? It's not going to be England, right? And I know it's on decline there, but still you would say its roots are predominantly religious. No, the most controlling countries today and throughout modern history, right, are going to be the Nazi Germans. The Chinese today are very controlling. They're burning churches if you don't preach the government standard religion, right, which is atheism. And the North Koreans, extremely controlling. And all 3 of those have one thing in common, and that is atheism.